Hello, and welcome to Creator Chat, a series where I interview different creators, allowing them to share their favorite games and to put a spotlight on whatever project they're working on. This is the fourth interview for this series, and today we'll be chatting with the creator of Studlands, known as Flag or Flaggy. Alright, for the audience, who are you and what do you do?
Hi, I'm Flaggy, also known as Flag or on Roblox as Flagman293. Only real thing you might know me for is that I created Studlands on Roblox. It's an RPG slash MMORPG game. On the side, I also have some more regular Roblox themed games like, obbies. That's probably it. I don't really have any other notable things to be known for.
I've got a photo for you, and I was hoping that you could explain to me why a Cubey was crucified. Here you go.
I don't really have a great answer for this because I didn't do that to him specifically. That was Jimmy, and the farmer NPC at that farm may or may not like torturing people.
Okay, glad to know that there's a local psychopath in the farm area. Before we dive too deep into the questions, I wanted to do a small game or experiment with you. I wanted to see if you could spot some stuff that might be out of place or might not be out of place. So I'm gonna pass you some photos here. Some very beautiful photos, I might add, because we're gonna be going over to the fields area. So here's the first photo. Do you see anything out of place in this photo?
Anything out of place? Oh, of course. The ores that have spawned on top of the flower. That is a pretty big problem in the game. I've kind of just been brushing it off as a feature because believe it or not, we already had a system that worked that attempted to spawn resources not on top of things, but it was really resource heavy to the fact that every single time resources respawned, especially if you harvested like a lot of them at once, it would lag the game a lot, and it was really just not worth it for the performance. So what I tried to do is size down the zones enough to the point where the spawning would on different, the spawning on the big objects would be minimal and it wouldn't happen as much. But unless we really want to sacrifice performance, I don't think there's really a good way to fix this, at least not right now.
I had a few more photos for funsies.
Oh. Yeah, the sunflowers on top of trees. That happens everywhere.
As a new player, I was wondering how to get that sunflower.
Yeah, in caves, ores used to spawn inside of walls and stuff, and I've gotten a lot of reports for that, so I think I fixed that. But yeah, it's kind of an issue that can't really be fixed fully for now. It also has stuff to do with how our workspace is managed and sorted, and we would really have to get all of the objects that we don't want it to spawn into a separate folder and then make sure that it works. Yeah.
Now you mentioned performance, and I do have a photo here regarding performance and more particularly rendering, but we're going to save that question and topic for a little bit later. For right now, we're going to get right into the topic of your introduction. So, what are your favorite Roblox games or game genres?
I really like RPG games. I mean, that's pretty obvious from the fact that I've made at least 5 of them in the past 5 years, up until Studlands, which suddenly, for no reason in particular, took off. My favorite games on Roblox would probably be Lumber Tycoon. That was one of the first, I think, games that I've ever played on Roblox, and I really spent a lot of time on it, and I hold it pretty close to my heart. The other games, what would be my other favorite games? There's a lot of them, and I honestly don't really remember most of them. Azure Mines would be one of them, and there's also TreeLands. That one is super fun. It's really sad what happened to the dev team and that they had to stop developing it. But I would probably say that's about my top 3. I also used to really play Adventure Forward until the stuff with the developer Explode 1 happened. But I heard that there's a new one called Stars Align or something like that, so I'm really looking forward to that one. Outside of Roblox, I really don't play much. That's also I don't really play games on Roblox either anymore. I only just make them, but if I'm really in the mood, I will hop on something, but there's not really much I play anymore. Except from on Steam, I play a bit of Geometry Dash. Recently been playing Deltarune because of the new chapters that came out. Yeah, that would probably be it.
What are some of your least favorite games and genres?
Least favorite? I think it's been said a lot, but specifically on Roblox. Grow a Garden, considering it got like 11 million players, really not for me. Or even like Souls RNG, I understand people like, you know, gambling and stuff and them wanting to like get the coolest thing, but they stay on there for 24 hours straight or longer just rolling. I wouldn't be able to have that, because like what would I do on my computer, right? Especially if they're at home and they just have the macro rolling, although I heard that there's like an auto roll feature. I don't like games like this at all. I don't see the appeal. I don't really like simulators either, and I don't really know what else I don't like. There's not really much. Maybe, I mean, I like story games, okay, but like every single time I buy a story game on Steam or something, I never play through the whole thing because I just get bored for some reason, except from Deltarune, because that one just has like so much stuff to it that you can't possibly get bored.
Stud Corp is a group housing a bunch of games. Who works on the projects and which ones can we expect to see updates on?
Stud Corp was made after we made Studlands Legacy, the old version of the game. First we had the Discord server because, you know, the community was growing a little bit, and in January 2023, when one of the updates for Studlands turned bigger than we expected, we decided to remake the whole game. So we decided to also move it to a group, so paying the other devs would be easier and we could potentially have more games in it. During the development of Legacy, I got a lot of submissions from a guy called Jimmy, which later on became now the co-owner of Studlands and StudCorp as well. He's a really good friend, and the game would honestly not be where it is at right now. Then there's also Backspace. I've known that guy since like 2017. He helped me on my development journey a lot, and I would probably be nowhere without him as well. He codes basically everything in the game, because me and Jimmy, not really coders. Jimmy knows some stuff, I'm sure of that, but I have no knowledge at all, and trust me, I tried to learn and it just didn't work. So yeah, we got Jimmy, Backspace, then there's Kyo, also known as Jen. She sometimes does stuff for us, because if I want like a detailed build, for example, she can deliver, that's for sure. So she occasionally shows up as well. Yeah, that's probably all the developers. We got Studlands in the group, of course. Then we got Cubey Mines, which was made, I think, halfway through the development of the Studlands revamp, because Jimmy was bored and we were kind of taking a break from it, because we were genuinely working like 6 months straight on it and just didn't take a break yet. So he made Cubey Mines like halfway through the development. That died pretty quick, unfortunately, even though it was a pretty fun game. I think it was because it was using a kit originally and Jimmy just didn't like working with it, so he stopped. Then there's Brick Game. That's another one of Jimmy's solo projects. I think he still works on it regularly, but like, I don't really know what he does with it. I'm trying to not really reach into it since it's his game. Then there's Harsh Unit, which is just like a first-person shooter that I made when I was very, very bored. I honestly don't remember why I made it. I think it's inspired by Cruelty Squad on Steam, because that game is really fun. And in terms of what games you could expect to be updated, probably only Studlands and Brick Game. If I get really bored, then I will definitely update Harsh Unit, but that's nowhere to be seen right now because the last update was like a year and a half ago. So you can definitely expect updates for Studlands. And there was another game. We started making a game, and this is the first mention. If anyone from StudCorp hears this, this is the first mention because I've never mentioned it in there ever. Jimby's Game of Life was meant to be kind of like a turn-based card game, kind of like Liar's Bar. We started developing that in February this year. I guess we got a little bit far. I mean, the game is playable, but it just looks really bad for now. So maybe you can expect that to come out sometime, but I'm not really promising anything.
To those who might not know, can you give a brief rundown of what Studlands is?
I would say it is an RPG game, or you could maybe classify it as an MMORPG as well. It was first, if you want a rundown of, you know, how it came to be as well, then sure. Basically, me and my friend were working on an obby game, and it was of course made from studs. I made a little character called a Cubey in there, and then I was like, what if I make a game where you can beat them up? So I got a bare bones RPG script, like, you know, where I could work off of it. And I made it. That was in June 2022. But yeah, since then it has evolved a lot. It's kind of like an RPG game. It got a pretty big world, I would say, for like, considering that most RPG games on Roblox are more like split. They got the areas, you know, different ones, and they got portals, and you can like go to each one. This one is a full giant connected world, literally. It has around, like, last time I saw the number, it was like 200,000 parts. I heard you had a question about the rendering. I guess we'll get into that later, but yeah, the performance has something to do with that. Yeah, there's a lot in it. I mean, I'm not really staying by the RPG genre only, because I literally wanted to add racing to it. So there's a lot of stuff I want to do. I guess according to Roblox, it is an RPG, but for me, it's more like a sandbox, if you could say that. Because we're really just adding anything we think of, as long as it works with the game.
When it came to the creation of Studlands, do you have any inspirations?
There really wasn't many inspirations. Well, I mean, okay, the first one was obviously inspired by Terraria. That is like one of my most favorite games of all time. I forgot to mention that at the start. So there's definitely a lot of stuff based off of that. The revamp is, of course, Terraria inspired, Stardew Valley a little bit, mostly the UI because it's got the same colors and stuff. Then there's a little bit of Cube World. I think it's an RPG exploration game, which got kind of ruined into their release. So that's kind of sad, but I tried to take the best of it and put it into here. You could mostly see that with the pixely weapons and everything that's like styled around voxels. Most controversial part, that it's inspired by Voxlblade, which is another game on Roblox that also uses the voxel style. Now, people call Studlands a copy of it, but like every single time they've mentioned it, I've seen them say, oh, it's heavily inspired. No, it is not. Just because one game on Roblox did stuff first doesn't matter we've copied it, because Voxlblade, believe it or not, also has a lot of stuff taken from Terraria and other games of such genres, and we just, you know, took that stuff and made it our own a little bit. Like, you got the world events like the solar eclipse, or in their case the blood moon or harvest moon. We've got the solar eclipse, we've got rain and stuff. So it's a little bit inspired by Voxlblade, obviously, because Voxlblade came out around the time we started the revamp. Yeah, that's about it.
What is the legacy version of Studlands, and how does it compare to the current?
The most stuff that's different, most of the core code, genuinely. Even the UI, it's just, the UI is completely different. I remember the UI being even worse before Legacy reached beta, I think. Then we kind of changed it into more of our own. But yeah, there's definitely different UI. A lot of core elements are different. The entire progression, I would say, is different as well. And just overall how the game works. The revamp got better dashing. We've got blocking. We've got way better systems, more menus for stuff so we can sort everything appropriately. The revamp also has a way bigger variety of attacks for enemies. If you hopped in Legacy right now, everything would basically feel the same. I remember watching your stream from like, I think it was December 2022, how you were saying something about the enemies just feeling reskinned, but basically the same. That's very true in Legacy, because we didn't really have the skills yet to give them like new and improved and cooler attacks, which is way different in the revamp now. I would just say the revamp is way better than Legacy. Still holds, like, you know, because it was the first, truly the first RPG game that I made, and it got a little bit of traction. I was really happy with it, but this is just a really big improvement over Legacy, I would say.
Was Studlands your original goal in mind when starting out, or did you plan for a different game design initially?
Honestly, No, it was just a random thing. I never expected it to blow up as much as it did. It was kind of just a game made for shits and giggles. It really wasn't meant to be anything special. It kind of consumed my whole life, honestly. That's pretty stupid to say considering the game isn't really that big, but like, it's the first big thing that I've made that I can be truly proud of. Because if you look at my other games, which are mostly cash grabs, you know, I can't say the same for that because I've made it with another group of people owned by another guy. It's just not the same as this. And I still remember the day, which was May 18th, 2024, when I saw the game go from like 10 average players to 400, and it reached 100,000. It went from like 10,000 to 100,000 visits within like 3 days. That was unreal to me. Yeah, it really wasn't my goal. I was planning for my actual like good game to be something completely different, but it turned into this.
What major points or memories do you have when getting to this point?
The 11 months that it took to actually get the revamp out when we first initially started at the end of January 2023, I think, all the way till December 2023, and me asking one of my good friends to make a trailer for it, and then just seeing people's reactions to how much better the game looked and how much they were excited for it to finally come out. That was really big for me. Yeah, I would also say our first live event, which happened, I'm not even gonna lie, around like 2 or 3 weeks after the release. Just seeing all the people be amazed like by what's happening on their screen, especially in such a small game like that at the time. It was really awesome. 2 more core memories would probably be, of course, the 18th of May 2024 when the game blew up out of nowhere. I think it was due to the classic event because this game is classic styled. Also, a live event that we did, I think around a month or 2 ago, which was an in-game concert. We got around 300 people for that, and the reactions to just seeing them scream and just like talk about what unexpected stuff happened at the end of the concert, it blew my mind, and it genuinely made me so happy, like I actually just achieved something in life.
Okay, this is a little bit more of an odd question, but how did I become a tester?
I don't remember how you became a tester. I think you had some really good points when you were telling me like about stuff in the game. I'm pretty sure that was still in Legacy, and so I was like, well, you know, might as well get this guy to a tester rank so he can go into the game when I need him to and see if he can find anything that I could improve.
I just find it funny because lately I've been asking developers how I've obtained some stuff, and it's very, very silly, the things that I've been granted randomly. Studlands is somewhat a difficult and tedious game due to the grind and mechanics around it. Was this intended to be this way, or did it somewhat end up this way?
I think on one hand it was intended because I really wanted because if you look at the game, it looks really silly, right? It looks like a joke, basically. And I thought it would be really funny if a game that looked like this was kind of difficult if you really tried it enough. But also it kind of ended up that way, not on purpose. I've been trying recently to like shrink down the grind a little bit. I've been, you know, shrinking down the XP requirements and like some damage buffs and increasing XP rewards from enemies, but I don't really think there's a full way to actually make the game easier. So it's probably going to stay that way for a bit. But right now, as we speak, I have my studio open. We've been working on enchantments for the next update. It should make the game a bit easier whenever the player obtains it. But the requirements to upgrade the enchantments and stuff are a little bit high, so I may or may not have gone overboard with that yet again. Short answer, on one hand, it was intended, and on one hand, it wasn't.
Out of all of the updates for Studlands, what in-game aspect was your favorite to work on?
Good question. I think one of them was definitely adding the tundra biome, because that was kind of, well, tundra was meant to be version 0.6. Then 0.6 actually dropped and it turned into the Cherry Falls update. So Tundra went on to 0.7. That was one of my most favorite updates because not only a lot of people were excited for the Tundra to finally come out, it was also around a month after the game actually blew up a little bit. So it was way more fun for me to work on it, considering how much support and like suggestions I was getting for it. And seeing people just be really excited for it made me want to work on it more, and it really gave me motivation. So releasing that afterwards was really fulfilling. And the other thing, which I guess is a pretty minor thing in terms of updates, but working on the revamp for the Cublin dungeon was really fun, considering dungeons, they weren't really dungeons if you think about it. You would just run through, go right to the boss and kill him. But since the revamp for the Duke dungeon, it really works like a proper dungeon. You go into a room, you have to kill a certain amount of enemies. There's some special new enemies as well. When you kill them, a sick gate appears, opens, and you go into another room and you repeat that a few times, and then you actually get to the boss. So that was one of the other aspects that I was really happy to work on. Yeah.
You mentioned it before, live events. Usually, games will do events that run for a long period of time, such as holiday events. Studlands has had a few concert events. What was the idea behind these, and how do they work?
Seasonal events, as like Halloween and stuff, we have that. Every single October, there's a cool little spookies like festival that appears in Cubetown, and you can buy some exclusive Halloween items and stuff. But live events, we've had two so far. The first one was before the Mushy Hills event, which is, the idea behind the biome is kind of like it's corrupted. It was originally a big hill behind the redwood forest, and during the live event, before the live event, there was a comet that was slowly getting closer in the sky and players could see it. So like a week before it happened, they were all like saying, oh wow, what is this? What is this? I'm excited. And then the live event eventually was, we did it kind of differently. So the comet, quote unquote, blew up. Then a giant vortex portal appeared, shot out an actual physical 3D meteor out of it, which did a little 180 turn in the sky and then smashed into the ground behind Redwood Forest, turning into Mushy Hills. And now, I think it's been like a year and a half since that happened. We did a new concert live event. That happened because, of course, my good friend Walter, he makes a lot of music. He made the trailers for the game before as well, but his music is fire, right? So I really wanted to like give him at least some form of recognition. So I wanted to make a concert live event where people would just go on, have a good time, listen to some good music. Yeah, that's basically, there's not really anything interesting that happened during the event except there was some funny voice lines and stuff. There was another concert, but that was not a live event. That one is just kind of there for some reason, and it doesn't really have our original music. It's just some random theme I took off YouTube. That guy was originally in Flowey Fields. Then we added an Easter boss, so we had to relocate this guy with the concert to the tundra on top of a mountain. I probably derailed a little bit, but the concerts aren't anything too special except for just like wanting people to have fun, you know, and listen to some nice music.
Studlands is a huge game, but it feels like I can only see a small portion of the whole map. Why is that so?
So before you could see the entire map, and the reason as to why now you cannot is because of streaming enabled. That is a thing that I didn't really know about in Roblox Studio for a while, and I was really angry with how the game was performing, and it was mostly because of how many enemies were there, spawned at once. I have no idea why they lagged the game. I think it has something to do with their AI or something like that. Essentially, streaming enabled was the only way for us to actually like at least temporarily fix the lag. We had to rescript a lot of the game to work with streaming enabled. Well, not a lot, but like a little bit. I don't want to be saying like we did some crazy work if Jimmy sees this or something. But yeah, a little bit of the game had to be rescripted to be able to work with streaming enabled. Then we just set the render distance. We tested a little bit. I first tested with 2,000 studs. That was still a little bit laggy, not really what I wanted. So then I set it to 1,000 studs, I'm pretty sure it's 1024. And dude, the increase from having like 60 or 70 FPS on average to 200 plus, I couldn't let it go. So we committed, we released it, and that is basically why you can't see further. I would really like for players to be able to see further, but there's not really a way to change that without sacrificing a lot of performance.
You've mentioned a few of them before, but Studlands has some cool random events that can occur. How do these work?
Currently, I think there's 4. There's the solar eclipse, there's the rain, there's a thunderstorm, and there's a meteor event. So the solar eclipse, pretty sure it has 5% chance to appear every 20 minutes. It gets triggered, and yeah, there's a 5% chance. That one essentially buffs every single enemy. It increases their health by 2 times, but it also increases their drops by 2 times, and XP, and basically everything else about it. So that one is, you know, it makes the game a bit harder, but the rewards are really good. Some people give themselves a challenge by going to a boss during an eclipse, which of course makes them have 2 times more health, which makes it a bigger challenge, but it gives better rewards, so why not? Oh wait, I forgot to mention, during the eclipse there's also special enemies that can spawn. Then we got rain. During rain, first off, beautiful music composed by Jimmy, genuinely great work. During rain, there's some special fish you can catch. There's also special enemies like flying goldfish, but there's really not anything else interesting about the rain event. It's just really cozy and nice looking. And then there's I think 5 or 10% chance every, I think it's 3 or 4 minutes during the rain event, which by the way lasts like 12 minutes, for a thunderstorm to happen. A thunderstorm makes lightning strikes strike the map on random occasions in random places. If it strikes an enemy, it makes it charged. If you kill the charged enemy, you get a lightning core, I think. And with that, you can craft a lightning rod, with which you can charge up enemies on your own, and you can eventually make them supercharged. So that's another way to make bosses more challenging. Not only having them in an eclipse, but also, for example, having them enraged, which is their more difficult versions, plus eclipsed, plus supercharged, makes them really difficult, but the rewards are really good. And then we got the meteor, which is a pretty simple premise. A random vortex appears somewhere around above the map, and it drops down a meteor and explodes, yeah.
As a player, if I had the item, couldn't I just supercharge an enemy near a new player and have them killed?
Yeah, you could. That's possible.
I have a new goal.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily a hell yeah.
I think it is. I mean, people, especially with the addition of the hardcore mode recently, they alert a lot of bosses to spawn. If like a hardcore slot player joins, they got a high level, you can't really do anything if you're loading in, right? So the boss just kills them and wipes their whole slot. We were thinking of some ways to stop that from happening, but I'm still thinking of asking my friends to script it in. I'm not really sure yet. We'll see if it becomes a big problem in the future.
In the main menu, you can pick a race. As a new player, how do these work?
If you are a Voxlblade player, then no, before you ask or type a comment down there, no, they don't work like Voxlblades races, because they're unlocked. It's more like if you unlock them on one slot, you don't have them unlocked on the other slot. There's many different ways to unlock races. For example, killing Duke Kublindor or Jimby, you get the Kublin or B race. You can find a frozen bunny guy on a mountain in the tundra, and he turns you into a frost bunny because he's angry or something. You got a leaf sune. That guy wants fish, so you get some fish, feed it to him, and he turns you into a leaf sune. And then you got the sea dweller, which you need to craft a heart of the sea for, with pretty difficult items to get, honestly, considering the race is pretty bad. So I don't really know why it's for such high levels, but yeah, you craft the heart of the sea, you sacrifice it at an altar in Coconut Bay, and you turn into a sea dweller. Every single stat has different perks. They're always displayed in the menu where you can change your race, which, by the way, there's a fountain in the cube forest where you can go, you can sacrifice a strange bone, and that opens up the menu where you can customize again, so you don't need to rejoin the game or anything. And that's where you can change into a race if you unlock one.
Studlands has a very interesting design to healing. Was it intended to be this way or just ended up as so?
I couldn't really find a good balance between like having natural regeneration and not having it. Or I mean, we don't have one, but like it was just really difficult to balance it to a point where like it wouldn't be easy to just run away from a fight and heal fully and not having to use healing items at all. So that's one of the reasons why we don't have natural regen. I know that the Leaf Sune race has natural regen. I'm pretty sure it's 1 health per second during daytime and 0.5 health per second during the night. So that was really the only race that I thought, oh yeah, maybe natural regen could be good here, because the race isn't really good overall on its own, you know. Yeah, the only ways to heal in the game, really, if you don't have the Leaf Sune race, are by just either eating food or going into inns. There might be more ways to heal in the future, or we might eventually add natural regen. I was experimenting with that once before, I think, and I reverted it pretty fast because I was just not really happy with it. But yeah, the game is still in beta. We can experiment with a lot of stuff, so there's definitely going to be changes to that.
Alright, we're getting to the end here. Throughout game development, what challenges did you experience that were unexpected or difficult to tackle?
That is a good question. I think the only challenges that I really experienced were trying to script something, because I'm not really a scripter, so I always had to rely on my good friend Backspace. Again, as I said before, the game would be nowhere without him, because there's genuinely no other good scripter that I know, and considering I have trust issues, it's very difficult for me to find someone to actually hire, which I've never done before still, by the way. Still stayed by my original group of friends. But yeah, I wouldn't really say there has been any challenges. I guess maybe the fact that people started attacking Studlands for, according to them, being a copy of Voxlblade and having to like deal with that backlash. Especially because the owner of Voxlblade also came in and started. I think I talked to one of his, I think I talked to Miney, which they do music for Voxlblade, and we kind of talked through, and they said that the owner of Voxlblade actually doesn't really have a problem with us. It was kind of just like jokingly, you know, hopping on the train. But yeah, other than that, there's not really any challenges that I've had to face.
As a developer, do you have any advice to anyone else trying to be a developer?
If you really want a popular game, and this is coming from me, right, who's made both a passion project and a cash grab as well. If you want a popular game and it's not something that you want to like develop for a long time in the future, but just want to make a quick buck, yeah, sure, sponsor it. If you really want to know how much, just do like 10,000 for a day. Or I don't know how much sponsoring works these days. I haven't done it in a long time, but yeah, if you really want something that you have passion for and you really like to work on it and want something to take off, I wouldn't advertise it. I personally haven't spent a penny on advertising Studlands. It just kind of blew up on its own, and maybe it was just luck, but I kind of just find advertising as a waste of money. Like, as long as you're having fun developing it and there's at least some people that play your game and like it, I would just keep it as that.
Okay, we're at the end now. Do you have any final things you would like to say while we're at the end here?
Well, I'm really thankful for you having me here, because I was really baffled when you first told me that you were going to do these interviews, and that you asked me in specific out of like a few people, or I don't know how many you've asked, and yeah, I'm really thankful for you having me, because I've never really done anything like this before, so I've been kind of nervous, and I may or may not have been speaking a little bit too fast. But yeah, that's about it.
Okay, as a little fun fact for the end here, you were the first person that I contacted for the interviews for. Well, second person, I'll be honest. Roblox Underrated Games was on a whim and it happened immediately. But the first planned person was you, so it's very silly. So far, it's been a few others that have reached out out and have also participated. I'm noticing trends throughout all of them, which is pretty silly to notice, but it's been a fun little journey experimenting with these interviews. So I hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, I did. It was awesome. Thank you.